What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to Fig Talk episode 2. Today is November 22nd. We're about 6 days away from Thanksgiving. Fig Talk was really designed for maybe an opportunity to answer a lot of Q&As, maybe go through my comments and answer questions that you guys might have. So I got a little downtime, and it's a perfect time to do some Q&A and answering, guys. So if you like this, make sure to hit the like button. If you guys have any questions at all, make sure to comment, and I will read them. And if it's something I can talk about and not really demonstrate or explain, I will do it on a Fig Talk episode. So episode 2 of Fig Talk. Let's go and just get started here. This question is from Jesus Flores 7323. This is a dumb question, but when you root out a cutting and you get, let's say, 3 nodes to bud out and start to grow, at what point do you cut off 2 to just leave a single leader to grow out to that one branch? Okay, Jesus, that was a great question. Thanks for asking that. So what he's really talking about is he has some cuttings that are starting to hopefully root out and starting to grow some branches. When do you start to trim them or cut them down? You got to remind yourself that during this cutting season, especially if you're in our climate, cold weather, you have winter, and you're not gonna bring this plant outside for several months, your really main focus is really just growing out a healthy root system, so that when you do make that up pot transition in the spring, you'll have a higher success rate. Again, just focus on rooting. For cutting the branches that come out, what I would do is I would only cut the branches that are touching the soil line. Like if, say, a leaf is drooping down and touching the soil line, I definitely would cut those. Anything that's unhealthy, whittled, wilting, I would definitely cut. Your plant really needs these leaves to help grow healthy, right? So you don't really want to cut anything right now. What I would recommend is when you do the transplant in the springtime or up pot in the springtime, that is when you're trying to notice which branch is the dominant one, which one is the stronger one, and then eliminate the rest and then grow a single trunk or leader. Our next question is from Robert Fisher 5893. It's a long question, so let me give you the Cliff Notes summary version of what he's asking here. He's pretty much asking about my pruning technique. Is it valid if he doesn't have a dormancy period like we have in 6A? He's asking, does it affect anything? Would I do anything different? Okay, Robert, thank you for asking that question. This one's really hard for me to answer. I generally like to speak on experience, and sadly, I am in cold Illinois, zone 6A. So we really need to understand why we are even pruning the fig tree. Really 2 reasons. Number one is obviously we want light penetration, and that's why you hear the candelabra effect, right? You want your branches to open up so that light can hit all the branches inside the center of the tree. Also, airflow is really important, especially for our fig growers in the southeast area where it's very humid, like Louisiana, all those places. You definitely want airflow to limit pests or issues like rust. As for trimming it differently, if I was, say, in California, I don't think I would. I would do the same thing. All I'm doing is stretching the plant to open it up, building these scaffolds, and then from this main form, and once that is established, all I'm trying to do is maintain the tree from that point on. So again, really tough question for me to answer without being in a different climate than our really cold Illinois, which snowed yesterday. All right, this next question is from Scott Gilliam. Pretty sure I heal 3757. The name is actually longer than the question. I understand that the first year you were trying to create a 1 trunk whip with no side branching. I see you're cutting off side branches. Will those branches grow back in the same location in year 2? Okay, this question was about 4 months ago, but it pertains to pruning. So we are in pruning season, so I'll answer it now. So thank you, Scott, for asking the question. Yes and no is the simple answer. You can't really control where a branch is going to grow. A branch will grow from any node, whether you pruned it or not. It's whether or not the plant wants to. There's certain techniques that you can do to kind of encourage it. One of them is notching. I have not successfully notched. Notching is pretty much where you take a branch, and imagine my ring is the node. What the idea or the concept is that you score it right above the node, which will stop the sap flow to going up, and it will encourage this to kind of intensify. Our hormones will pool in that area, which will encourage a branch to come out of that node. Again, I have not successfully notched. It is something that I wish to learn how to do, because there's some branches or some trees that need certain branches for me to kind of appease my anal pruning techniques. But yes and no, Scott, is a summary of that question. We just can't control what the plant wants to do. But we know a node can always produce a branch. So the final question of this episode is from my guy, Gary Smith. It's probably my number one question I get. Homer, what is your choice of fig tree pots? Because of my small yard, I have to grow in containers for the most part. Okay, so what are my favorite containers to grow in figs? First of all, I love the Menards 5-gallon buckets. They're probably what I'm known for. It's kind of a joke with my group of friends. When I give you a plant, all I expect is my Menards bucket back. But the black ones that Gary is asking about is a brand called Grow Pro. That's GROPRO. I will overlay a picture of the pot that we're talking about here. They're actually my favorite pots. They're very durable, very thick plastic. I've probably owned about maybe 50 plus of those pots, and I've only broken 2 of them, and I broke them on being my fault. Instead of carrying it like this, I carried it like this, and the weight of the soil and the plant broke it. This is how awesome they are. I still use those pots as grow outs, but again, the brand is called Grow Pro. The hardest part is finding somewhere to buy them. I buy them at my hydroponics store. They're really the only place I can really recommend. You can buy them online on hydroponic online stores, and I will see if I can find any Black Friday deals for you guys. But the problem with these pots is usually the cost of freight. So my suggestion to you is, if you like the pots, and let me rewind real quick. Let me say why I love these pots. I love it because of the lip, like the round part, and then there's a lip. If you ever see me wire training and drilling into the pots, that lip is enough space for me to kind of tie down and pull some branches down, which I really like. I'm also going to come up with a new creative tagging system. Stay tuned for that. My boy Ulysses is going to be helping me out with that project. But yeah, back to where you can source these Grow Pro containers. Hydroponic stores, online vendors are usually expensive because of the shipping, the freight. My suggestion to you would be to call your local nursery if you don't have a hydroponic store by you, is to ask them to special order these pots for you. I used to work and manage a retail, and it's so easy to custom order stuff. Most of these nurseries or plant stores are ordering from a bigger warehouse, and usually they have access to them. They come in lots of sizes. I particularly use the 10 gallon, the 15 gallons, and now I have some pots in the 25. Let me add this as a final note. People probably ask me, why not fabric pots? Just not for me, guys. I tried vegetables this season with fabric pots, and the amount of watering it takes to keep that pot from drying out is too much work for me. I also don't like the aesthetics of it. Sometimes you know, over the years, calcium or lime or mineral deposits will form around the pot, staining it. They get moldy. It's just not for me, guys. Aesthetically, more than anything. If I was to suggest a fabric pot, there's a brand called Grassroots. They're known for having a plastic lining in the top 3/4 of the fabric pot. This allows it to maintain moisture, but you get the benefits of root pruning on the bottom. There's also now a fabric pot with holes around it, so you can kind of help wire train like I do. But again, fabric pots isn't for me. I really love the Grow Pro. Just good luck finding it. All right, guys, so that is episode 2 of Fig Talk. If you like this and you have questions, feel free to drop a comment. I'll make sure to try to answer those. All right, guys, peace out. Again, I'm Homer from Basement Figs. I love you guys. And if I don't hear from you or talk to you, you guys have a great Thanksgiving. And I will try to make another episode of Fig Talk before the new year ends here, I guess. Peace.